I was born in Oak Park, Illinois, and then we moved to Chicago when I was a baby. So I grew up in Chicago and then spent my whole life there until college and then came here to New York. I always think about, culture, like cultural icons. It is definitely very American. It's the images that are just sort of around me all the time, or the images I grew up with. It seems like all the images I use are sort of this combination of like very current imagery and out of magazines, images that remind me of my childhood. I was 8. Oh, I couldn't have been older than 8, but yeah, I remember, taking this ad out of the newspaper. It was this like 2-page ad of this, a lingerie ad, this woman in this pink bra and underwear, and I like did took a big piece of paper and copied it. A broad theme has always been like women's bodies. That's always been the one like big reference that's always been there. One of my professors showed me this technique of putting you stretch a canvas and then you gesso paper onto it and gesso over that and just kind of squeegee it. It's just kind of hard, but not, as hard as a wood panel. When I want to change images, a lot of times I want to take a certain image away or change part of it. A lot of times I sand it. There's always you'll see a lot of sanded areas, and that's kind of my way of erasing an image or a part of an image. I always was looking at Playboy magazines and Victoria's Secret and cartoons and using the shapes as a reference and the colors. Loving some of those images and hating some of those images and loving them and hating them at the same time, or just that desire I just need to take this image and do something with it, or just make it mine, or just alter it so that it makes more sense to me. I think there were times where I really wanted my work to be really clear and want to know exactly what I was going to do and know how it was going to turn out, know what I wanted to say, but that's just not me. So there's always on the surface of the piece, on the canvas or the paper, it's just, there's this kind of struggle or battleground that takes place in the process. But I guess maybe I'm trying to, have certain little bits of clarity come out and figure things out in the process. So that's where the neatness is, I guess. Henry Darger, Darger's a big one for me. It's just funny, some of the artists I like. I actually really love Tom Wesselman's work. So many people think of it as so sexist, but I love it. I'm just yeah, there's different flesh colors and all graphic like that, and there's graphic breasts and the fruit and tan lines. I love it. I just think it's really interesting. I found that people who aren't artists, don't look at art that much. A lot of times I like what they have to say about, I think they actually get my work more than other people. Especially women. Not that men, men get my work too a lot. I love what men have to say too, but I want it to be fun to look at. I feel that's my duty, sort of. I don't know, I don't feel comfortable. I guess maybe that's also, to answer the question, what makes good art? I guess, for me, I feel it has to be, it's not complete until I feel it's really fun to look at, people are gonna have fun looking at it, or it's gonna be funny, and yeah, and I do want people to be able to keep discovering things, and I want to keep discovering things. Every few years or so, you always have to, or I feel I always have to kind of reconsider again. It's always this decision, okay, am I going to keep, committed to this? Because it's kind of a risk, it's always going to be a risk. So I'm always reassessing it. Although I never really I'm never really serious about not continuing to do it, but it's still something I always have to like, why am I doing this? You know, do I really have to keep doing it? And it's like, yeah, I have to keep doing it.